Hi there Waltineers, I'm Jack and this is Waltineering, a video series where I like to armchair Imagineer new concepts and ideas for the Disney parks, and today I want to give the argument for an Avengers Hotel. But first, let's begin with a bit of context. As Marvel Studios has easily proven itself to be the most prosperous studio acquisition Disney has made to date, as in terms of sheer profitability, since Disney acquired Marvel Entertainment for $4 billion in 2009, Marvel Studios has returned over $20 billion in worldwide box office revenue over the course of 21 movies released under Disney's ownership, and has contributed greatly to Disney's tentpole movie strategy, which in turn has led to box office dominance. And beyond that, Marvel content has also been integral to Disney Plus subscriber retention, with popular shows such as WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Loki. And all of this is not even to begin to mention the incredibly lucrative consumer products and licensing rights, and the huge catalogue of stories and characters that Disney can now use as inspiration for decades of future content. And yet, despite all of that, Marvel has been drastically underrepresented in terms of the Disney parks and resorts. However, it's not entirely Disney's fault. As you see, long before Disney owned Marvel, back in 1994, Marvel Entertainment Group signed a licensing agreement with MCA Universal, which gave Universal Studios the exclusive right to create attractions based upon popular Marvel characters, including most of the Avengers. But this agreement only pertains geographically to east of the Mississippi River, which is exactly how the Avengers campus at Disney California Adventure was made possible. And I've talked extensively in the past about the Avengers campus leading up to its opening on June 4th, 2021, and have even discussed some very clear areas in which I think it could have easily been improved and most likely will be at some point in the future. But despite that, Avengers campus undeniably still serves as a solid foundation for future Marvel representation to build upon. And that brings us to the topic for today. As now that we've established that Disney has the freedom to use Marvel IP at Disneyland, so I think it's about time to realise Marvel's true potential and dream much bigger beyond the purview of the Disney parks, with a unique, Avengers-inspired hotel. However, there would be one obstacle to all of this, and that is that Disneyland is a landlocked resort and does not have the luxury of acres and acres of undeveloped land for new projects, as is the case at Walt Disney World with the recent construction of the Riviera Resort, the Gran Destino Tower, and the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. However, what's the point of constructing an entirely new building when you've got one that's already there and ripe for retheming? And that is the Paradise Pier Hotel. As first of all, the hotel's name doesn't really make sense anymore, since Paradise Pier was rethemed to Pixar Pier in 2018, and since then the hotel has only had subtle hints of Pixar flourishes within the rooms, but overall it's floundered thematically, devoid of any real art direction or distinct character. And so here is some concept art that I've created to help illustrate just how the Paradise Pier Hotel could be transformed into an Avengers Hotel. And as you can see, this would involve an entire revamp to the exterior of the building, to add sleek and modernistic stylings to evoke elements of the quintessential Avengers aesthetic. But importantly, from an architectural perspective, these changes are mostly cosmetic, with a new darker colour scheme along with new glass panelling on the sides of the hotel towers. However, that is of course with the very obvious exception of the construction of the iconic Quinjet landing pad tower topping off the hotel. Although, when day turns to night, that's when this redesign brightens the skyline of Anaheim with an LED lighting package that would highlight the central columns and accentuate the height and size of the buildings. And with the illuminated Avengers logo, it will serve as a beacon for Earth's mightiest heroes in the night sky. But before we dive any deeper into this Avengers Hotel concept, I just want to say a quick thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. video. As whether you aspire to be an Imagineer or want to start your own YouTube channel, it can be all too overwhelming not knowing where to begin. And well, that's where Skillshare comes into this, as it's an online learning community with literally thousands of classes that will help you unleash your creativity through exploring new skills and developing existing interests. So for an example, to get started Armchair Imagineering your own concepts, if you have an iPad, I would highly recommend taking classes on digital illustration on Procreate, as that is what Imagineers use to create concept art nowadays. Or learn the fundamentals of using Adobe Photoshop, which is what I use to create all of my artwork, logos and graphics to better explain the ideas in these videos. And so to get started on Skillshare today, the first 1,000 people to use the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare membership, so that you can start exploring your creativity today. And so considering that we now discussed the exterior, it's only logical to talk about the interior and what exactly would be featured within this revamp. As first of all, the Paradise Pier Hotel consists of 481 rooms across two 15-floor towers, and here is what makes this concept unique, as this would be two hotels in one location, as the first 8 floors would be for a traditional hotel setup with a complete renovation of the rooms to be extremely similar to that of the refurbishment that Hotel New York underwent at Disneyland Paris to become the Art of Marvel. However, because of the 1994 MCA Universal Agreement, Disneyland cannot use Marvel in their marketing. Therefore, this traditional part of the hotel could be called the Art of Avengers. But as a result of this renovation, it would automatically elevate the status more in line with the Disneyland Hotel in the Grand Californian in terms of theming and quality, which would probably also be reflected in its price. And then in terms of retheming the interior, the overall lobby design would lend itself to an overhaul with sleek and modern materials that would be befitting of the Avengers aesthetic, and importantly to tie together the exterior of the building to the interior. Well, because it already has this impressive large glass atrium to the towers above, an LED lighting package could be embedded within the glass atrium support struts to create an arc reactor inspired look at night time. And for Disney's PCH Grill, which is a very popular character dining location, it could be renamed and rethemed to Disney's Multiverse Grill, which could keep the character dining, but because this is the Multiverse Grill, it could have Mickey and the gang in their various Avengers costumes, as in this multiverse, they are the Avengers. However, that's not all when it comes to this Avengers Hotel, as the reason why I said that only the first 8 floors would be for the Art of Avengers is because the top 5 floors of the 2 towers would be home to an ultra-immersive, one-of-a-kind Avengers HQ experience, or otherwise known as the Avengers Hotel Quarters. And as you probably guessed, this would be the West Coast equivalent to the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser that opens in spring of 2022 at Walt Disney World. As with the Star Cruiser, Imagineering is aiming to deliver a 2-day, 2-night experience, pioneering a whole new level of themed entertainment called Story Living, where guests will be able to eat, sleep and breathe Star Wars. But the thing here, I would love to see the same design objectives, but applied to a new IP for Disneyland, thus creating differentiation and a reason for all Marvel fans to visit Disneyland Resort. And so this ambitious Avengers Hotel Quarters concept would require 5 floors, as 2 floors would be for the guest quarters, another 2 floors would be designated to interactive storytelling show space, and 1 floor would be devoted to backstage infrastructure. And the narrative reasoning behind this is that this used to be a Stark Tower in Anaheim, and Tony Stark used to provide guests at his extravagant parties sleeping accommodation as well. But now these rooms have been converted into the hotel quarters for the next generation of Earth's mightiest heroes. But what would make these rooms extra special compared to the Art of Avengers rooms would not only be the theming, but also the windows could use the same infinity display technology that's going to be used within the Galactic Star Cruiser to create an ultra photorealistic rendering of the view from outside of a hotel, as by doing this it would mean that Imagineering could then overlay special cinematic level effects and storyline points usually confined to a Marvel movie. And then in terms of the actual experience itself, well, this will be a sort of recruitment drive for the best and brightest to join the Avengers Initiative and be taught by and train alongside the various members of the Avengers, so that Earth will be ready for whatever threat is lurking out there in the universe. And the Avengers will also be aided by officers of Nick Fury's sword operation as well to help handle some of the operational logistics. And the kinds of interactive experience that I envision would be part of this would be Captain America's shield training, which would probably be the activity most similar to that of the lightsaber dojo for the Star Cruiser. And this would require specially engineered shields with rubberized edges and carbon fiber centers that could be capable of bouncing off walls just like in the movies, which is indeed possible, as you can see here with this prototype by J Laser Video on YouTube, which I'll leave a link to that video down below. And then the other offerings would include Hawkeye's archery, Black Widow's combat lessons, Thor's Tales of Asgard, which would be a type of show, Doctor Strange and Lessons in the Mystic Arts, Shuri's Lab, where you would be able to design new technology using vibranium, and in addition to all of that, there would also be the Iron Man Flight School, which could use virtual reality helmets themed to Iron Man, combined with motion simulator bodyboards, where you would be able to control the Iron Man drone bots outside. And let's say you just wanted to relax at Avengers HQ. There would also be the Skyline Bar and the Malibu Lounge restaurant as well, which is where on the first evening you would then be invited to a gala where you would be able to mingle with the various Avengers in formal attire, similar to this scene from Age of Ultron. And who knows, maybe you could see if you were worthy of lifting Mjolnir as well. But then after the second day of training, the interactive experience would be taken to the next level by throwing you, the Avengers in training, right into the battle for Earth. And this is where we could come face to face with Thanos, or another villain could show up from the multiverse, using the new puppetry technology that Disney is developing for larger-than-life characters. And inevitably, you would be thrust right into the action, fully enveloped within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And you would either help coordinate the Avengers from mission control with sword officers in an interactive show environment, or you would suit up in the Iron Man drone simulators and go into battle, or using the powers of the mystic arts, you would help Doctor Strange open up a multiverse portal and return the threat back to where it came from. But no matter which element you're part of, there will be unique cinematic action-packed encounters that you wouldn't want to miss as part of this grand finale to the experience. So in conclusion, that's my idea for what I think would not only be an incredibly popular hotel, but also an experience that would complement Avengers Campus and truly immerse fans within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But now, it's over to you, the Waltineers. I would like to know, what are your thoughts and opinions about my Avengers Hotel idea, and whether you agree or disagree with it, what do you think about the Art of Avengers traditional hotel setup, and a notification bell if you're already subscribed and would like to receive notifications. And if you've enjoyed today's video, this Waltineering video for today, then be sure to give this video a massive thumbs up, as it really does help this channel out. And I've been Jack, you've been you, and I'll see you real soon.